Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day, good week so far. Happy Thursday. Dude, there should be football today. I don't care if it's preseason. You play on Thursdays. There's no games today. They play tomorrow. Who plays on a Friday? Come on, dude. I'm ready to watch football tonight. But it's all cool. We're going to get right into it. We got how I got suspended while on a field trip story time. So make sure you sub, share, like, comment, all that stuff. We're going to get right into it, dude. This was kind of dumb. Okay, I should not have gotten in trouble for this. I'll fight that, okay? I will say to this day, I don't think I deserve to get in trouble for this. You'll hear why. Now, so I was already in trouble before we even went on this field trip, right? And the reason I was in trouble, it was nothing serious. I just couldn't stop talking in class, right? And I don't mean like disrupting and being funny, like being a class clown. I had those moments, but that's not why I got in trouble. I got in trouble because no matter who they sat me next to, I would just not do my work. I would just talk to them instead, whether it was a random girl who I've never met before, or one of my friends, or a dude that, was in my gym class a few years ago. Like, whoever it was, I would just start talking to them about whatever. We'd talk a little bit, they'd start laughing, I'd talk a little loud or something, and then, the teacher would get mad at me. And it kept happening, you know what I mean? And honestly, what I could say is I wasn't like a bad kid towards the school or these teachers. I was a bad student. I really was. Like, I did not give a damn about the work. Even to this day, like, I have no part of me liked school. I liked gym and I liked lunch. Besides that, I don't give a damn, dude. And I didn't like gym every time because half the time it's boring shit you gotta do. Like, sometimes we walked laps or like played tennis. I don't want to play tennis, dude. I want to play dodgeball or kickball or something. Besides that, come on, what are we doing here, right? So I was never a fan of school, and I would get very easily distracted. I'd start drawing on myself. I'd draw on paper. I'd talk. I'd play on my phone. I'd play on my Chromebook. Whatever I could did not do work, right? So that was the kind of vibes I was giving off, right? And at the time, I'm getting in trouble for talking to classmates and stuff. So we go on this field trip, right, to a pumpkin patch. It was a weird place, right? We'd been before in, like, 6th grade, but this happened in, I don't know, let me think. This had to be freshman year or 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade, though, because I don't really remember going on many field trips in high school. The only, the closest we had to field trips were we played football teams that were, 2 hours away, and we'd leave school early and get to, ride the bus for a long time. That's the closest I got to a field trip in high school. But probably because if you think about it, here's how my high school experience went, dude. Freshman year, I played football, and I cared for a little bit about my grades. Then they fell off towards the end of the year. Right before that year ended, I got suspended, right? So to play football in my sophomore year, I had to make up stuff. Like, I had to play lacrosse, right? Or else, because I was going to be suspended from football for the first however many games. So I played lacrosse, so I was suspended from that instead, right? And I ended up getting kicked out of that too, so it was all bad. Sophomore year, I didn't care. I just kept skipping and smoking and stuff. Junior year was COVID, and then senior year, I went to an alternative school. So I didn't really have a chance to go on any field trips. So this had to be 8th grade, right? And we get there, I remember we took 3 buses. There was a whole lot of kids, right? And we get there, and from what I remember, I think I had a Juul on me, but I didn't have weed. I wasn't, even a stoner fully yet. Maybe I smoked occasionally, but not all the way, right? But I had my Juul, and I remember we got there, and we had to go in this big, building at first, right? And there was all these activities set up, and it was, a cool concept because usually on a field trip, you don't get a say in what you're doing. You go to a place and you do whatever you're supposed to do, and that's it, right? Maybe it's we're going to a hockey game. Maybe we're going to, a museum, something like that. Or we're going to, a building to learn about it or something, It's usually things like that, or tours of places, right? So, and I didn't go on that many. I'm trying to think, in my life, I've probably been on 5 field trips, which is still pretty good. It's still pretty good, but we only had 1 or 2 good ones, right? One at a hockey game where there was a lot of fights, that was good, and one at this war place. I don't even remember what it was called, dude, but it was pretty sick. Anyways, though, back to the story. So we got in this big building, and they separate us, not the teachers, but they tell us, they're hey, posted on the wall are the activities you can do, and you just pick one, right? And there was a corn maze, there was apple picking, they had all these things you could do, right? And I'm looking at them, and nothing's really catching my eye. And then there's I can't remember what they called it, the kids zone or the fun zone or something. And what that was kind of like a park, right? They had very tall hay bales all stacked up. They had this like, you know the blob? Have you ever seen what a blob is in water when one person sits in the end and jumps on the other? They had one of those, kind of. It was in the ground. It was like a trampoline, but it looked like a blob, right? It was really weird, but it was fun, right? And they had different things like that, and they had a real park with like slides and swings and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, I guess I'll go there, because I'd rather hang out there than go apple picking. And there was the corn maze too, but I've been in enough corn mazes at this point in my life. I was like, I'm good, dude. I don't need to, like, we're not going to get lost. Obviously, we're only going to be here for like an hour or two. I don't want to spend the whole time in the corn maze with people going, oh my God, are we lost? Like, I don't care, dude. I'm good, right? I'll go sit by myself or with a friend or something. So I go over to that like fun zone, and they have benches and stuff. So I'm sitting on the bench. They also had a pumpkin launcher. I did do that. That was cool. That was fun, right? That was the one thing I did like there, right? But I'm sitting there, and they were giving us free drinks, right? Like, you could take a Pepsi, a water, whatever. So I got a free drink. I was like, yeah, I'm chilling. And I'm sitting there drinking my whatever drink it was, right? I'm a Coke, Dr. Pepper kind of guy, but I remember they gave us Pepsi. So I was sipping on that, just sitting there. And a couple of my friends come over, and they're like, hey, we're going to go on the blob thing. You want to come? And I'm like, sure, I guess. So we go on the blob thing for a minute. That's fun, right? Well, let's get to the part where I get suspended, right? Because that's the reason we're here. You're here, okay? So the hay bales, the really tall hay bales, okay? It was different sizes. Like, one is one hay bale that's like, it would go up to like here on me, right? If I was standing next to it. Then they have one part that's like 2 stacked on each other, then 3 stacked on each other. And then they have one. You ever see the people that stack cups? That's how it was with hay bales, right? Like, it was like a big tower kind of, or a big hill, right? The first thing I thought when I saw that was, what do you call it? King of the Hill? Is that the game? I know that's a show. I watched that show. Good show. Anyways, but that's what the game's called too, where you like push people off, right? Isn't that what it's called? I think so. I haven't played in a long time. We used to play in the snow because it snows a lot where I live. And as kids, we'd have snow days, and they would build these big mounds of snow in like parking lots, you know, by the plows. And we would be at the top pushing each other off. Whoever's on top for the longest wins, right? So I see the hay bales that are all stacked up, and I look at my friends, and I'm like, hey, we could play some King of the Hill real quick. Like, this looks kind of fun. And my friends were down. They were, you know, they didn't hesitate. They were like, yes, we're doing that. So we climb up to the top, and we all started in the same spot, like off to the side. And it was just, okay, ready, set, go. And we all start trying to climb up there, right? And pretty quickly, you could tell that this was quite a violent game, right? Like, normally it is because you're shoving each other up, but this was brutal, right? Because the hay it wasn't sharp like on the top when you were sitting on it and stuff, but when you're climbing up it sideways, it is sharp. So when you're getting pushed off, your elbows are scraping it and your knees are scraping and stuff. It's like, damn, right? And it's itchy. But we were having fun. We're pushing each other off, climbing up. Nothing really bad's happening, right? Until this. It took me forever. It took me like 6 minutes straight of climbing to finally get to the top. Not like because it was that tall, but I kept getting pushed off, right? So I finally get to the top, and I'm like excited about it, right? So I stand up, and we're high up, dude. We had to be from all the way at the top. Let me think. I have a basketball hoop. I know the rim's at 10 feet, so all the way at the top's got to be like 13 feet, and it was around there. So I'd say like 15 feet. Like, that's how tall this thing was, right? So I stand on the top, and I'm like flexing. I'm like, yeah, right? One of the the teachers, you know, that was on the field trip with us, comes over, and she's like, I don't care if you guys climb up there, but don't be touching each other. Don't be pushing or anything like that. And, you know, call it what you will. Call me an asshole. I don't care. But I didn't say anything to her, right? I just looked at her and didn't listen. I was like, whatever. Because I knew most likely at some point she's going to turn around or go look at some other group of kids, and then we'll just go right back to it, which is what we did, right? So we start up again, and we're pushing each other off, and I can hear her yelling from across the field. She's like, stop that. I told you guys to stop, right? Me and my friends are just laughing. We're like, whatever, right? Well, here's the problem. She must have been quiet or walked away for like 5 minutes because we didn't see or hear her for a while, right? But she kept yelling at us to stop at first. Well, we get back to play, and I get knocked off. I'm climbing back off. I get knocked off, you know, and I'm just getting back to the top. Finally, I'm just about to get back to the top again, and my friend is right in front of me, right? And he's like 1 step ahead of me. So he's reaching up to get to the top, and his foot's right in front of me. I grab his foot, and I yank it down, right? Because I'm like, I'm going to win this. I yank his foot down. On the way down, he grabs me around like the head and shoulders and pulls me back, dude. And both of us fall like 7-8 feet straight onto our backs onto the hay, and it hurt, dude. Like, it almost knocked the wind out of me. I had to lay there for a minute. I was like, oh, right? And we're laughing, but like we kind of realized like, damn, that was a big fall, you know what I mean? Because the way they were stacked up, like you wouldn't fall all the way to the bottom just because there's many hay bales in the way. Like you'll fall on one and you'll hit one to slow you down. I think just the momentum, because I like ripped his foot off and then he grabbed me while he was falling back. So we went flying backwards, right? The teacher was, I don't know where she was at first, but she saw this happen, the one that was yelling at us. She comes running over, right? And listen, I understand that like, that she told me not to do it first, but we were all involved, right? And we're all friends. That's another point. None of us are mad or angry at each other. We want to be doing this, right? She comes over and she yells at me. She asks me to get down and to come talk to her. So I'm like, okay, like here we go, right? And I go over and talk to her and she goes, I don't even remember the first thing she said. She said something about me disregarding her words or not listening to what she was saying. But then the part that I remember clear as day, she's like, you guys are physically hurting each other. You could kill each other. And I was like, there is no way we could kill each other pulling each other off of hay. Like, that's not true, right? And she's like, well, you could get seriously injured. And then do you know who gets in trouble? Me or the other chaperones or the principal, right? And she's like, we told you to stop. You need to stop. You're done, right? Like, no more. And I was like, okay, like, I got you, right? But my friends are still on the hay bale, and she, like, yelled at me. She, like, threatened me, you know? She got mad. She's like, no more of that. I was like, okay, whatever. Well, she walks away, and what, am I stupid? Like, yes, I am. So the moment she walks away, I'm going right back up there, right? And I'm going back up, and my intention wasn't to keep playing King of the Hill. It was just to go by my friends, right? I'm climbing, and my friend goes, hey, Trent. And I'm like, yeah. And I look at him because he was to the right, and my one friend was right in front of me. I look at him, and my friend at the top just shoves me off again, right? Like another big fall. And I thought it was hilarious, but it did hurt. I was like, God damn it. I was like, fuck you guys. And I'm laughing like, that shit hurt, right? She came running back over again, dude. And this time she yelled at all of us. She said, all three of you, down, now, come here. And I was like, well, here we go. And I thought, dude, I was like, no way we get, you know, in my head, I didn't even think suspension was a possibility. In my head, I was thinking, well, at the worst, like, they'll take our lunch away, you know? And I don't mean, like, not let us eat, not like that. But I mean, like, instead of sitting with our friends at lunch, they'll make us sit in the office. Or, like, maybe we get a detention. But I never got detention in middle school. Like, it wasn't a thing, you know what I mean? It was always, they made us stay during lunch. Or, like, we had to, you know, work with a teacher, like, alone instead of being in class. Like, stuff that really wasn't that bad of a punishment, right? So I didn't care. Well, she grabs us, like, literally grabs us, like, come on, which I don't think teachers are supposed to do. But we went back to that original building, you know, where we had to pick our activities. And we've only been there for like an hour, right? And she's like, well, we're not leaving till whatever time. She said 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever. And it's like 1 or 12:30. Like, we had not been there very long. So the entire rest of the time, we just sat there sitting in this little like barn type place. Thankfully it had AC, right? We finish up finally, and what I mean by that is we sat there, me and my friends, for 2 hours just talking and joking with each other. Like, imagine having lunch for 2 hours. That's basically what it was, just without food. We didn't have food. We were just talking, hanging out, whatever, right? Like, it wasn't a big deal to us. We didn't think we were getting in that much trouble, okay? Well, we get back to the school, and then we have to get on the buses and leave, okay? But we have about 10 minutes before the buses leave, and we get back to our class, and me and my friends are sitting there talking, like, whatever, you know? We got yelled at. I don't care, like, it doesn't matter, right? Until it did. Our principal, or I'm trying to think, yeah, we didn't have a dean in middle school, it was a principal. One of our principal comes down, actually the assistant principal, but she came down, and she, like, picked me and my friends out of class, us three that were on the hay bale shoving each other off, and she asked us to come with her, and I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna get in the hallway, she's gonna tell us we were, like, knuckleheads or something, whatever, right? No, dude, she brings us to the office, and she's got all these papers in front of us, right? And I'm thinking, what? Like, no way, dude, because in middle school, they had these things, minors and majors, right? You could get a minor if you, like, if the teacher heard you say, like, fuck or something, right? They may give you a minor. It's like a minor offense, you know, and your parent has to sign it. It's like, whatever, dude. For some kids, that may be a punishment, but for me, like, it really wasn't, because it was like, you know, Mom, can you sign this? And she'd sign it. That'd be it, right? Sometimes, depending on what it was, she'd ask me, like, oh, you punched this kid? Why do you punch him, right? She'd want to know a reason why. But unless it was like something terrible, she didn't give a fuck. So it didn't matter to me. But they had majors, which means you're getting suspended, right? Either multiple days out of school, or like their in-school suspension was just there wasn't even a room for it. It was just you sat with a teacher the entire day in a room alone, right? So I'm like, okay, we're getting majors. What did we do to get suspended? And they'd always write it down, what it said. And it said, multiple times he didn't listen to the teacher, and he was physically hurting other students, right? And I was like, this is bullshit, right? Like, yes, I didn't listen to her. That part's true, but these are my friends, and we were all sitting together. We all were arguing. We're like, we're friends. We weren't physically hurting each other. Like, we were having fun, dude. We were on a field trip. We were just trying to play King of the Hill. It's not a big deal, right? And he's like, it is a big deal when one of my teachers tells you to stop 2 or 3 times and you don't, when one of you could seriously get hurt, and then it's on us. And I'm like, whatever, man. I don't give a fuck. Just give me the paper. Okay, it is what it is. Well, for the next, week and a half, every day during lunch, or not during lunch, no, because it was worse than that. It wasn't lunch. It was not every day. It was sorry, loud-ass truck just drove by with a bunch of equipment. I don't know what he's got in there, lumber or something. But no, for 3-4 days, instead of going to class doing normal things, I had to sit with some really decrepit old lady teacher who was really mean, dude. I'm not going to say her name, but people know. If you know me, you know exactly who I'm talking about. This lady was mean, dude. I had to sit with her for 3 days, and by the end of it, she liked me. We were friends. So whatever, dude. I don't care. But that pissed me off. I shouldn't have gotten suspended or whatever from that. That wasn't a big deal, at least to me. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. This is a long one. Sub, share, comment, check out my other videos, and if you're going through something, my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and email, but email's only if you want to make a video. Those 4 are all linked in my YouTube bio. No Snapchat. Just go there, DM me. I'll get back to you in a day or 2. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Peace out.